This week's show has it all from Goodbye, Brother to Stupid Soup. Marvel TV Weekly starts now.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Oh, that's right. The best things in life are free, but Marvel content usually is not. We'll talk about some free content, but then the idea that we might have to spend a little bit extra for it. Coming up on the show, I'm Christian Bladt at ChristianDMZ, joined as always, except for last week, by Kari Lane. Where can people find you?
Yes, you guys can find me online at Kari D. Lane. That's Karidlane.
And Michael?
Yeah, you can find me at Michael X Shirley on Instagram and Twitter.
And we are going to make sure that we get to some comments that people have left on the show. There's some disagreement in, we're like weighing things against each other.
Okay.
That maybe is, just like comparing apples with really badly written oranges. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that in the future. But I want to start off talking about a little bit of news, and then we'll dive into the Inhumans season finale. And we'll talk a little bit about The Gifted, which is actually Michael's favorite show of the new season. Is it not?
All time.
It's almost as good as Mutant X, which I only mentioned because somebody asked in the chat, which is a show from like 15 years ago.
Yeah, and it wasn't like not successful, so maybe that's why it didn't make it into our show, because it had 3 seasons.
Yeah, but it's not really like Marvel Universe. It's like it's like adjacent because that guy Ari Allen did it.
Fox
But anyway,
and all of them would disagree.
Oh, really?
Lots of lawsuits over that show.
I didn't even realize that. But the biggest news is, where are you going to watch The Punisher on Friday, and how many are you going to watch? I am not going to watch 13 of them. I would love to carve out 13 hours. I mean, I don't know. I got a kid.
You got a whole weekend.
You would think I had
Whatever.
time over the weekend, but I will not. I'll tell you what I'm not doing. Going to see Justice League. No, the time that I would spend going to see Justice League, which on a past episode of this show, I characterized as the Avengers, if you didn't give a shit about 3 of them. So now Justice League, that can go on the back burner. I'm very excited about The Punisher.
You're such a hater.
Oh, I am. That's what I do because
DC hater.
I like to stir it up a little bit.
Okay.
But if people are watching Marvel TV Weekly, they're got to be at least somewhat on the same page as me. They're more excited, But hey,
Some people like both.
DC Movie News is a great show over on Popcorn Talk. So you see, I can.
That's true. If you guys are more DC fans, we have that kind of a show
In fact,
for
they
you
had
too.
my friend Roxy's on that panel, and they did have the guy who plays Cyborg on the last
that was
episode.
great.
So that's pretty great. But
Yeah, Tony B. Dead was really excited
Oh,
about
Tony B.
meeting
Dead,
him.
you were excited about that?
Yeah, and I was very disappointed at Michael's reaction when I told him, because I was so excited. I'd be like, I'm going to share this about my life that happened today. And he was just like flatline, dead fish, no reaction.
Nothing. Well, that's all right.
Wasn't Gal Gadot.
No, she's great. But anyway, so the question is, how much Punisher do you think you're going to watch this weekend? It hurts me that I can't watch all 13, but I really want to. I can't, it goes up at midnight, so I can't just watch. Friday morning at 12:01 a.m. is the way to look at it. And it's not like I can watch it right up until 1 p.m. I got to get my kid ready for school. I got to take him. There's too much. I just can't do it. Also, I'll have to sleep at some point, oddly enough. But
What's the sleep you speak of?
well, 4 hours. It's 4 episodes of Punisher I could be watching.
Right?
Kari, when do you think you're going to watch The Punisher, and how much do you think you'll watch in your initial binge, as it were?
This weekend, I know I got a lot going on Saturday, but maybe Sunday, and probably on Friday night. I don't know if I'll get through the whole 13.
I would love to get through the whole 13
but I'm
by
probably
next
going to
Monday's
carve out
episode.
maybe by Monday.
That's my goal.
At least carve a big chunk out.
Yeah.
Probably at least 5. I bet 5 over the course of the weekend. So
well, you don't have to spend an hour watching Star Trek Discovery this weekend because
right?
it's on its break. But Michael, what about you? I know you're not as excited about The Punisher as I am, but how much do you think you're going to watch this weekend? And are you going to try and watch it early on, or?
I don't know. I think I'll probably finish it within a week.
All right.
Unless it's bad.
Zeus B. Lou in the chat says that they're going to spread it out. 4 on Friday, 4 on Saturday, and 4 on Sunday.
All right, good planning.
Should we tell them that there's 13 episodes? So they're going to save number 13?
Well, maybe that'll be what day ends up having more time. That they'll add
one of them they'll add
on.
a 5th show into. Yeah, that's fine. But anyway, I'm very excited about it, and we'll talk more about it next week. Whatever we've seen, we can talk about it in general terms. But there will be an AfterBuzz Punisher Netflix after show. Check your local listings. I think that they have yet to figure out exactly when it's going to air and how many episodes are going to do at once.
I think they do, for the Netflix shows I was hearing, they were doing like the first half.
Right, but I specifically asked before the show, and I was given an indecisive answer. So that's why I'm
that's good
saying
to know.
just check your
subscribe.
list. Yeah, exactly. Subscribe. You need to watch all these shows anyway.
And Zaya says, I forgot 13.
Yeah, but that's all right. I wanted to make sure that.
It's okay.
So there was a request in the chat for something that I did want to mention, which is Sony, and again, these are movies, not TV, and we'll talk about TV in a moment, but there's the movie news is always very interesting. So Sony is developing another Spider-Man spin-off film because, the only rights they have are Spider-Man. I mean, not the whole studio, but the only comic book rights that they have from Marvel. So they want to do Morbius the Living Vampire, and I don't know. It's one of those questions that just because you have the rights to something, should you make the movie? That was never a favorite character of mine. It was like introduced before my time, and then I think that there was a little bit of a resurgence.
Morbius was so cool in the cartoon.
In the cartoon?
In the cartoon was a really interesting and cool character, and it was vampire, but kind of like how they did it was a little different.
A living vampire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was kind of like an anti-hero too.
Yeah, that's why he was really cool as a character, or at least in the cartoon.
Then team him up with Ghost Rider, maybe, except they don't have the
You
rights.
want to put Ghost Rider with everything?
Kind of. Punisher and Ghost Rider, I'd watch that. They're both looking for vengeance.
Only if Nick Cage comes back.
Nick Cage should always come back. Thank you. In the booth at Tony Be Dead, by the way. I don't think I gave your Twitter out.
Yes, thank you.
Michael, Morbius the Living Vampire, are you going to just give a big thumbs down and take a pass on that one?
I can see why they're doing it.
Because-
Twilight and the Vampire Diaries.
Vampires
Everyone
are always
eats
popular.
that stuff up. So they're probably thinking no matter what.
You're going to
Okay.
get the built-in vampire
People that aren't
crowd.
even Marvel fans will probably want to see it.
Yeah.
But
And
I don't know. I think it's a strange choice.
I was reading some articles beforehand, and it seems like they're kind of developing like a dark universe for the Marvel, but it's on Sony's side and using only the Spideyverse. And also, you can't have Blade without a vampire. So.
Well, it is a good point, but I
Blade comes
think
back.
Blade's rights have reverted to Disney at this point. 'Cause I thought that was
Who
one of those.
cares?
Well, I mean, people watching this show, that's who cares. It's hard to keep track, though. It's
Well,
definitely hard to keep track.
I would be curious for Morbius how dark they go, because it'd be
Yeah.
cool to do that as more like a horror Marvel, like the new Mutants.
Yeah, which is a horror movie.
That
which
looks
is,
awesome. So it'd be exciting to do Spider-Man as kind of like a horror movie.
Yeah, I think there'll be no Spider-Man in that movie. Like sort of the way that they're talking about the Venom movie, which I also think is a bad idea. But I admit I will definitely go see it. So, not that excited about Morbius, but let us know in the chat.
Also, I just want
Yeah.
to express like what I'm seeing. Like, it's possible it could go like a certain like gothic, romantic, take on it.
Twilight.
Yeah.
I would not put that in gothic romantic, but
Well,
sure.
not Twilight. But I was
Kristen
thinking more
Stewart's
like,
so gothic and romantic.
more like a Crimson
mean-
Peak style, but with vampires.
Okay. See, that's more on the gothic side.
Well, they'll just figure out what could make the most money. I guess
Yeah.
that's what it is. Anyway, well, let's move it over to the TV side. And finally, Black Bolt, the 8th installment, what many either expect, some hope, is the final installment in the Inhuman story, finally Black Bolt. First, I will just ask in general terms, Kari, what did you think of the episode and the 8-episode run on the whole?
I would hope everybody's seen it because we're going to talk about it.
We're gonna talk about it, yeah.
Okay, cool. I was very happy Triton wasn't dead because we all thought that was
Yeah.
a stupid death. So we're like, yay, he's not dead. It was some great plan. So, all right, I like that.
Yeah.
It was good foreshadow, not foreshadowing, like planning ahead and everything. So I'm like, okay, great. I can get behind that. Gorgon's death and coming back, resurrection, stupid.
Yeah, I think
It was
a lot
a
of
dumb
times
death.
that it was a dumb death, and it was cheapened by the immediate
Yeah, I mean, he's
resurrection.
back.
That if he just stayed angry and couldn't talk and had no shape of being himself, that could have been interesting. But then it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm kind of me, but I don't.
He's
it was
not really him.
You know what it was? It was like it was bad Hulk. That's what it was like. Not even as well defined as the Hulk. How
And he
you
had
can
his
get him to
boots,
calm
too.
down.
They didn't they're like, well, let's not deal with the hooves, so we'll just keep the boots.
Oh, they did keep the boots.
So that was dumb.
Yeah.
I'm glad it finally Medusa goes, hey, maybe Maximus isn't really a good guy. I'm like, oh, really? You're finally getting that?
It took a lot. And even in the final episode, she's like, I'm going to go talk to him
One more
more time. And it's like, but you've already done the one more time like 3 times.
Yes.
And remember, this is the guy who shaved your head. The only thing that makes you special. You know?
It'll grow back.
I mean,
we don't know how long.
I thought that it was going to grow back during this series, and clearly I was wrong. I thought it was going to grow back super fast.
That'd be more instant. So that was dumb, but I'm glad she finally gets to that point. It was just kind of one of those, like, yeah, we've all been there, thinking like he's the evil, or at least I've definitely been. No, don't trust him. We should have killed him already. The standard, he can come back, and Black Bolt leaving him, you essentially killed him anyways.
You essentially killed him, but you know the idea. It's like, well, he's in this underground bunker, and conveniently there is a lifetime of food there, so apparently he's going to be all right.
And the power's going to go out, and he's going to have to be in there blind. No, it's just that was just dumb. They should have just killed him anyway.
My one thought about Maximus's master plan, which is, you know, every hour I have to put my hand on this thing to keep the dome open. I don't know. I guess I can understand why no member of the royal family did this. But when Oron started to see, well, exactly what I was going to say. Like, why did Oron?
Does it have to be live though?
I don't think so. I mean, they didn't establish that.
He acted like he was gonna cut his hand off.
All right, then cut his whole arm.
Won't work.
Cut his whole arm off. Yeah, I know that's the problem when you have a main character who doesn't talk. But I don't know. There was no real exploration of just cutting his arm off, or I don't know.
Though speaking of like blades and cutting, Triton was pretty badass. I love that. That was so fun.
Quick.
Huh?
He's quick.
Oh yeah, speedy and like and do all. It was nice to see his character do something crazy and visually fun. But I did like the Euro water Inhuman and like.
I mean, that was sort of, you know, look, every once in a while, like,
Touche.
Maximus has a few good points along the way. He's just sort of blindsided by his own, you know, inadequacies and jealous rage and, oh, by the way, I tricked you into killing our parents.
Yeah.
Whoops.
And I think Louise is still great. She's just so
Did
fun.
like that she went for the hug, and you know, I think
I was
Louise
kind of annoyed they didn't take her to the moon. Like they
I
could
was
have
so
done that.
bummed, yeah.
She's like,
they
I
just
only need to
didn't
be there
want
for a
to.
minute.
Yeah, just
you know?
go there and be like, and come right back.
Yeah, I mean, you have the magic teleporting dog.
Yeah.
If we get a second season, I feel like we're gonna see Louise go to the moon.
I hope so, because she's actually one of the more intriguing characters. Because the other people are like, eh.
Yeah, and I mean, they very unceremoniously.
I like the side people way more than our heroes.
Well, they
main
very
heroes.
unceremoniously killed off Desmond from Lost. You know, they just.
Oh, that was a quick death.
That
He's
was
in everything.
Well, sure, well, yeah, but I mean,
he must
he's
have
just,
a contract with ABC that will never.
he was only
expire.
going to be in the first 2 minutes of episode 8, and then he had to be out basically because it was like, it was one of those things where you didn't really think Gorgon had killed him, and then he's just laying there, and you're like, I mean, I guess he's dead. All right, so I apparently misinterpreted that one. But Michael, I wanted to ask you overall thoughts on episode 8, but the Inhumans as a whole, the story that it told.
I got what I expected out of it.
I don't know what people wanted more of.
Yeah,
you
we
know?
just got like a little slice of their story. Like in the comic books, he and Maximus like constantly back and forth, like Magneto and Professor X. So, I mean, I didn't think they were gonna kill him. So
No.
you know,
I
they
wish
left
they
him there,
had.
and he'll get.
I mean,
out.
he deserved some killing. But I thought that I thought it told an interesting story. Of course, it was flawed. There were a lot of things, you know, part of the bigger conversation people are having with Michael and I comparing this to another show is that they don't use their powers. And there
Not
are
much at all.
there are times that they don't.
Crystal
Crystal uses her
A
powers.
little bit.
They had Karnak forget how his powers worked. But we saw them a little.
Auron,
Yeah, Auron.
she comes back.
Yeah.
Medusa's powers are way too expensive.
Yeah, and also didn't look
So-
right in the posters,
bad.
so they were like, "We're just gonna."
I felt bad for I'm blanking on his name, but the rock dude that like could help transport
Oh yeah,
people.
he's just like, "Yeah, the planet's gonna die," and
I was like, they
so
can't really
am
take
I.
him. I was wondering, like, could they take a piece of that? Like, is
Just
he?
take his head.
Well, we don't. It's
Yeah.
only his face we see, and we
That's
don't know
true.
how he's like.
He might.
We don't know the
pop
anatomy.
into another wall or something. Who knows?
Well, he's like the destruction. Though that is very similar to another superhero thing that's out right now. Like, we are the people. It doesn't matter where we go.
Well, I was gonna say
that was like the
it's
same
It's
line.
the same point that they make in
Yeah.
Thor Ragnarok. I feel like if you didn't see it yet and you're watching the show, I'm not really giving that much away.
Not really.
The people of Asgard are what makes Asgard, and oh, by the way, the people of Adelon are what makes Adelon as well. So, good to know.
I was
Also,
surprised. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Parlee. I thought it was parlay. Every time
Yeah,
they're
they
like,
kept
it's
saying
a parlee.
parlee, and
All of them. I was
Yeah,
like,
that was
Nails on
episode
chalkboard.
7, I think. But yeah, at
Yeah.
the same time, you're just like, yeah, I thought that was interesting. We didn't talk about that last week. How it was.
Well, Pirates of Caribbean parlay.
Yeah.
You guys are gonna hate me, but you guys ever think Lock Driver peed on that wall?
No, I
No.
think he's paper trained.
Okay.
But it was a good question. Thanks, Anthony. Were you going to say something?
Oh, I was surprised that they didn't move Adelan because in the comic books it moves around a lot.
Yeah.
So I was surprised that it still stayed there because it seems like they have the technology to move
Yeah, I
their
think that,
little dome thing.
they have the technology,
Yeah.
but do they have the budget for the special effects to move it? So
They seem to have like a forward and backward approach to technology. Like they're really great at some things and other things they're like idiots about.
Yeah,
And
they've
you're
got
just
like
like,
an oracle in a little pool.
I'm glad they showed those girls. Well, I think they're girls. The like white
hooded ladies?
Yes,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, good, they survived. I wondered about them as well.
Yeah,
And I'm
no,
like,
because
their
it's like, well, they
powers
don't
must
move,
suck.
so
they never do
yeah.
anything.
I was getting really annoyed by the fact that Medusa kept interpreting everything for Maximus.
Yeah.
And I was like, if he doesn't say something like, I can read sign language since like you're my brother of like my whole life,
Yeah.
I was gonna get pissed. But he finally was like,
He's
I
like,
can read
oh yeah,
your
no, I
language.
can. He's like, I can do that. Yeah, and it was convenient because of because if Maximus didn't understand sign language, that scene when they're alone together was going to involve a lot of Black Bolt writing on a chalkboard and like handing it to him.
You don't even know if he can write.
I mean, he's the king. Well, yeah,
king
it's
doesn't
true.
need to
The
write
king doesn't
except
need
his
to-
name.
King has people, Yeah, so, and one of the things that I will focus on these shows is times where the budget creeps in and makes things hard to believe. Like when Black Bolt and Medusa are addressing a crowd of people telling them that they need to evacuate Adelon. It's like 8 people. It's like the smallest
Oh,
crowd
right.
assembled
Well,
ever. The one at the end of the episode was a decent sized
That
crowd.
was big, and there was quite a few people when they were exiting and going through the wall.
Extras are like under $200 a head. You can't get 20 people to just be there and like, or CGI like repeat the
Yeah.
same 20 people again and again. No, apparently they can't. But I don't know. Little things like that really didn't bother me, and I really like the idea that there's like this major threat that is looming. That's their real threat.
Oh, yeah,
and
that we
Black
don't
Bolt
know what it
doesn't
is.
divulge, which is because you're sort of keeping it close to the vest because you want there to be another season. I think the chat does not want there to be another season, but I know I would like it. I mean, if I could trade it with a second season for another show that I won't name, I would take a second season of the Inhumans over a second season of something else.
Has there been any news on that?
That
Keep
the
saying series finale.
series finale was how they pitched it. It originally in the pre-release of
Limited.
well, they would just say like the story begins here, and then it's like the complete story is going to be these 8 episodes, and the ratings were all right. What I was reading is that it held on to the lead-in, which is Once Upon a Time, so.
And once it's been going on for a long
Yeah,
time.
so it held on to its lead-in, and I think that maybe 2020 didn't benefit, but that's like, well, it's not the same crowd. Like, people don't watch TV in the same way anymore. Yes, people have to watch it, people have to watch the streaming, but you have to factor in the +3 or whatever they do, which we've had now. So I'd be interested to see, but I don't think that the ratings were very strong.
Well, it is complete for what it is, and
Yeah.
I would actually be more excited if they have crossovers with other shows that exist.
Yeah,
I feel
and,
like that'll
and the
happen.
show that
Like
it
we
would
were
make
saying, Louise on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
yeah,
would be awesome.
It would make the most sense for this story to continue
And
on
other
Agents of
Inhumans,
S.H.I.E.L.D.
yeah.
because we have other Inhumans, maybe not
Yeah.
this season. I don't quite know, but I think it would be nice to see some of the Inhumans turn up. And I don't know, maybe people didn't like the show. Maybe they still had some favorite Inhumans. For me, it just needs to be Lockjaw. But I guess Crystal comes with him, so that's fine. I didn't have any problems with her. But of course,
she was very dopey-eyed and just very. I felt she was
she
so
missed Dave.
too
She missed Dave so much.
two-dimensional,
Yeah.
like flat. Like I'm just wide-eyed and young and a boy, and you're just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. No, exactly. But Michael, before we move on, we do need to talk about the moment that you texted me about, because I hadn't watched it when you texted me. And look, I'm always quick to isolate lines from the Inhumans.
Yes.
Lines from the Gifted that I think are really bad. And I did find one from tonight's episode that I used in the lead-in. But that moment of goodbye, brother, and just sort of the weird effect and
like a burp.
Yeah, it was basically what it was. Is that he burped at his brother.
I would have said something else for
Yeah,
sure.
like
asshole.
I wish I killed you. I wish I killed you
He
instead
pretty
of
much
been
did,
too
though.
much
I felt like
destruction.
leaving him there,
No.
and then
Look, if this story ever continues, he's not dead, and he will,
Yeah.
and the fact.
No, but I mean, it's just one of those like, okay, you didn't directly kill him, but leaving him that way is like,
I'd probably rather die than be
but look,
stuck somewhere
the
like
fact-
that.
right? That's
by
more like a
myself,
slow,
yeah.
torturous death.
Sure, but the fact that the name of the wall guy is Eldrak, I had to check my notes because I couldn't
Thank
remember
you.
for
Yeah.
to save my life. Last time we saw him, he is still standing. He could open a little narrow doorway.
Do we know if he was just in that space, or could he shift to different
It's
places?
a great question. I actually don't know
Okay.
the backstory on him, but I feel like he's not necessarily dead. I feel like Maximus could get off the moon, but this is very hypothetical for a story
this
that
is-
may never continue.
Yeah, but
You know?
standard bad guy protocol. He's gonna come back, kill
Yeah.
a whole bunch of people, and then you're like, you know what? We should have killed him when we had the chance.
Yeah,
how it
and you know who will
goes.
say it is
Always.
Medusa, and then Black Bolt's
Well,
gonna be like,
Yes.
I tried to kill him like 4 times, and you always said
You didn't
no.
want me to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He should have coughed at him. But anyway,
Right?
so I think that and I don't know, people have been a little harsh on the specifically Black Bolt's costume, but I liked seeing him in it at the
mind
end.
it.
I thought for what he wore in the comics, not having the weird Cyclops headpiece is good.
Yeah, no, it looked cool.
Yeah.
And
And-
Medusa, they changed her outfit,
Yeah.
and that looked cool too.
Yeah,
I
so
mean,
I don't
well-
know. I was happy with the story as a whole, and I know that maybe
It's fine for what it was. It was entertaining, but I was not like bestest ever.
Yeah,
But-
and Zeus, who's all over the chat, says, get the guys running Legion, Daredevil, and Punisher, and then sure, I'll catch Season 2. Hey, if you can get any of those to do Season 2,
Yeah.
I think that
Got a
would definitely...
different feel than that.
Yeah.
Well, I wonder if like a different showrunner, or different producers, or different people behind the helm would make it a better show.
Yeah, but...
Like it's like a B plus. Like, okay, that was cool.
Yeah.
But it has so much more potential to be better.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, and I think that I enjoyed it a lot. I mean, I definitely have. If you take 8, you can isolate 8 episodes of Agents of Shield that I've enjoyed much less than this. Let's just say that. I'm not trying to be harsh on that show, but there are definitely 8 episode
they're
stretches.
all like 22, right?
22, yeah, they have too many.
They have plenty of filler / frustrating episodes, but overall, I like that show better.
You like Agents of Shield
Yeah.
better, yeah, but I'm just that's why.
But there
I'm
are
just-
like filler /
there's definitely whole story arcs.
per
that are like-
averages, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll see. Let us know in the chat if you want more Inhumans, but
Mm-hmm.
you might not. Inhumans and The Gifted both also have after shows here at
Mm-hmm.
AfterBuzz if you want to really dive into that. Now we're going to talk a little bit about The Gifted from tonight, but we watched the East Coast feed even though we're on the West Coast, and so we're not going to try and ruin it. But I want to start with Michael. What about The Gifted would make it a better show for you? What do you think it's missing? Because it seems like I'm sitting next to you in a dentist chair where like I'm just getting a cleaning, but you're getting a root canal while we watch
Aww.
it. And I don't know, Carrie's in the middle of the road. I don't
feel
quite know what procedure you're getting there.
It's like
at the-
they're polishing at
yeah,
the end.
Yeah, you're just getting the where they show you the mirror and you look and
Yeah.
like, no, your teeth look good. We don't need to do anything. But what do you think would make the show better? Is there a too much? Because I was talking to our friend out there, Stephen Lemieux, who's on the panel for The Gifted, and I was like, I really feel like the characters of the parents take a lot away from this show. I don't think they help. I think that they're just overprotective, and also
Yes.
let's be honest, they're people without powers. And they have the nicest bedroom in this mutant underground complex. They have like a big bed. They have a private room, and you're like, really? Why do they get
Slicing
that?
peas.
Yeah, right, exactly. So I don't know. And I mean, poor Blink has to eat stupid soup.
Just like Maximus is probably gonna be eating for the rest of his
Yeah,
Days
and
on the
he's just
moon.
human, so he's really not going to have a good time with the soup. I hope there's a can opener in there.
Eon001 says, yeah, the parents need to go. Love the Gifted, though, is what they
I mean,
said.
look, people love that
There's
show.
just
They're,
so much.
I think I like it a little bit more than Michael, but
Yeah, I think you do.
No, neither one of us love that show, though.
I don't love it, but I liked it.
You like it more than we do because
Yes, I like it more than you guys do, for sure.
And I think Erica likes it a lot. Actually,
she likes it a lot.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think she just likes it all because it's all so new to her. You know, and maybe the bar is just
I think
there's
the-
no bar set for her. She
the
just,
mom's pissing me off more. in
Oh,
terms of-
now you're on Michael's team there.
No, I don't. It's not. Mine's
Is it
not the
me?
actress. But it's the like. I've been saying since the first episode, these kids need to be trained. You don't know when you're in danger. Constantly, can we train these people? And then finally, by what episode around now? Like 6?
This was 6. I
They
think.
go, hey guys, we need to start training. I'm like, oh really?
No, now.
By now?
Now you need to start.
How
training.
many
So-
episodes do we have of this show, by the way?
Probably
Just wondering.
22.
Stop it.
I'm almost positive it's 22 episodes. And it's not,
Yay.
I don't know, it's taking a break for Thanksgiving because it's a Monday show.
A gift
Side
that
note,
keeps on
Eon just
giving.
said-
The gifted that keeps on giving.
I like this. Reed has to die. Will motivate Andy to enter his villain arc. Ooh.
That is actually sort of the
That's
most
kinda
interesting
cool.
thing. I've taken those notes while we're watching the episode. Is
s-
that you see sort of the way he uses his powers is it's like Luke Skywalker flirting with the dark side, and you're like, hey, no, don't use your power in that way. That would actually be interesting
Yeah.
if they were to do that with him, but I don't know that they have it in them to tell
Yeah.
that story.
I really liked when players was throwing bricks at him.
I love what
Yeah, it
because
was
you wanted one to
great.
hit him. Is that why? Oh,
No,
Michael.
it was fine. Yeah, finally rewarding to have them train, and then the mom's like, "Well, this is dangerous." So it's just like, really?
Learn
How
about
happy would you have been,
science.
Michael, if she had turned around, Polaris had thrown the brick at Amy Acker?
I would have
Just hit her right in
changed.
the head.
I would have been like, this show's really stepping it up.
No, yeah, it's just
So you don't really have an answer for what it is,
Yeah, is there
Michael, that
something-
could make it.
All right. All right. One of the big things for me is the acting.
okay.
That's
in
fair.
Inhumans, like, there were a couple times like goodbye, brother. I was just like, all right, this
But-
is like taking me out of it.
Yeah.
But it really, I can't like get into the Gifted because there's something always taking me out of it. Like Thunderbird's fine, Blink's fine. Just some of the actors are just, I don't believe them. And you're supposed to get
Sure.
lost in a show like this, and
And it takes you out of it. And,
No,
and
some
that,
of them are way better than others. I agree.
And it is the thing that I focus on sometimes that you say you don't really look at shows this way. When I see low budget
Yeah,
moments, I
effects.
can't, I'm like, oh, I'm watching a TV show where they don't have enough money. And that just takes me out of it.
I feel like
And-
they don't have mutants we really care about. Like,
Yeah.
let's just be real.
Like her name is
do we really
Polaris.
care
She's
about
Lorna
these?
Dane, but she doesn't feel like that
Oh,
character at
the
all.
fans! Yeah, we were talking about that. Like, she's got the same name, she's got green hair, and she's got those powers, but she really just isn't the character from the comics. Like, the character from the comics was strong, but like she also like had like severe mental illness. So like
Yeah.
that was part of like. She, I don't know. I just feel like it's like a.
And she
they're
had
calling her Polaris,
she's
but
probably had multiple arcs, but I remember one in particular. She had a bad guy arc or villain arc. I guess.
Yeah,
where she's a
yeah,
villain.
yeah.
So
yeah.
I think it's a very rich character that I'm surprised never made it into the movies and was available.
like
for
they
this
just
show.
13 episodes, by the way.
That's what I've
Thank you,
heard, but I
Zias.
don't know if it's got what we call in the biz the back nine. It may have gotten that since it was announced, but we will see. They might have another show that.
Did
might
you
go
want me
ahead
to
and-
keep going?
No, no,
about-
no.
I wanna know more.
Did you have more things that you
I
think would help?
the
Yeah,
name
absolutely.
of the show is not super helpful for the show. I feel like
It's you know what? It's true.
I would
Every
think it
episode
was
title has an X in it. I feel like the name of the show should have an X in it. I don't know what it should be.
yeah, they
but-
keep hinting at this X-Men stuff. Like we know that's what you actually want, and that's why you're
Yeah.
watching this show.
And they
but
keep
it's not
reminding you that
enough.
the
Yeah.
X-Men are gone or dead.
Yeah,
or
and
whatever.
it's just like all the like lackeys from Age of Apocalypse. You know, it's like these characters that I don't know why they don't pick someone a lot better. Like a lot of characters that people really
Look,
Do you
you're
think
not.
it's per the
like, fan
budget?
favorite.
Chat rooms like
I-
Polaris and Thunderbird because TV show budget.
Well, I think TV show budget, but I think you also have sort of an edict. Like you have certain like these characters are in the movies. So look, we're not asking for Wolverine on the show. We know that that's not going to
No,
happen.
no.
But there are
Well,
other
like a
characters.
Jubilee. Or
Jubilee,
like, you know, someone that you would
Nightcrawler's
imagine
expensive, but
running around.
Colossus, you know,
Yeah.
they're I mean, he's only metal sometimes. You know, there are great characters that you could put on this show.
They keep redoing characters. Why
Yeah.
not go with someone they've never done before that really deserves like a chance?
Right. I
Like,
mean, look, you know, who expected to see Negasonic Teenage Warhead in Deadpool? You know, sort of like a gem like that. Somebody that doesn't really get a
I
good...
want to see maybe a long shot, you know, like maybe
Yeah.
jumping in, because like Blink has all these weird portals she can do. Maybe she goes somewhere like interdimensional and brings back, you know, Three Finger Mutant.
And
Like,
by the
I don't
way-
know, I just think there's so much more fun stuff, and I feel like it's just too safe, not pretty to watch. Like the visuals, the cinematography, I find it very almost like, I don't want to say soap opera, but it's just like,
Well, you know, it's funny you say that because I isolated a line, and this is a minor spoiler from tonight's episode. Blink just talking about that memory that was implanted in her. She says, "It's like a bad soap opera I can't escape." And I said to
Yeah.
Michael, "Oh, you mean like this show?"
yeah, it's
At times it feels like that.
It's like they want to get the viewership that they know they have,
Yeah.
like that are interested in this stuff, but they don't really want to give us what we want. I mean, as someone who's read comic books ever since I was like 5 or 6, I
Yeah.
feel like they're just kind of like holding out, you know, for like movies and stuff like that. I don't get.
I mean, you feel like they're
why.
holding back their best villains, and you know, every week at Sentinel
I mean,
Services.
we were so
Which
excited.
I'm not thrilled with that.
Yeah,
as the
it would
bad
be
guy.
it'd be great if on the Sentinel Services team is just doesn't have to be even your top tier. It could be, you know, I don't know, like whoever you rank on all the best X-Men universe villains. It could be whoever's at like number 35. That's still going to be a cool villain to see.
Yeah,
you know?
Turner.
It's just
I
every
don't
week.
care about him
Yeah, and
as
you
his
know,
motivation.
I
I
feel
get
bad
it.
that he lost his
Yeah.
kid as a father, but at the same time, just a couple weeks without him. You know, I mean,
Evil Scientist might be interesting bad guy though.
yeah. Oh, Bert from Raising Hope.
It's
yeah,
hard for me
he's-
to look at him as like a bad guy.
Well, because
just
he's Bert from
so
Raising Hope?
Funny.
Yeah, he was so funny
I've
on that
never
show.
watched that show.
Well, they have him in a beard, and he was also on the TV series, the Sarah Connor Chronicles. So he was a Terminator in that. So I'm used to seeing him as a bad guy.
Okay.
But he has such a funny face, and I mean
He
that
does have a
as in like
interesting
comedic
look.
face. Yeah.
Funny face.
Yeah, funny face. I think that I don't know. There's a lot with this show that could
Do
be
you want me
interesting.
to keep going?
Do you have more? Yeah. Well, yeah. Let's take a
Like,
couple
why-
more minutes, but we have to get to our main
Why can't-
topic. So
Why can't we get more mutants? Like maybe they just drop in for an episode. Like
that's actually what I was going to say. Yeah.
That's what's so fun about some of the DC shows. They throw in tons of characters. Maybe they're not like super big, but like you get those like cameos that are fun. And if they really are a resistance, why aren't they running into new people? Like why are they just like kind of hold off, like hiding away,
Also,
growing
it's
plants? Like
fascinating
Good
that
point.
there's 3 factions of the Mutant Underground in Georgia. They're like, oh, he's going to go up to the one in Augusta, and he's going to the one in Marietta. I'm like, so why are there so many in Georgia? Why don't you consolidate? It's just a thought. I don't know. It's a crazy idea. I know.
mutants are popular on Tinder too.
Oh yeah, that was kind
I
of funny.
liked that.
I
was
forgot
funny.
about that. That was my.
It's
Yeah, my favorite moment in the show is when Lorna and Sonia show up at the drug dealer's mansion. Hey, ladies, looking good.
I
And
like her.
that was fun though.
I like those.
I like Carmen. And
You like
don't
Carmen?
like Carmen.
Well, I just didn't
like
think she
Carmen.
was.
Carmen is
I did
cray-cray.
not think that she was dressed for basically a gang war with the Russian mob.
She's not gonna get her hands dirty.
Yeah, she's gonna sit back
I
by
mean,
the car.
At least cover up. There was too much cleavage. I was distracted. All right, I
Bothered
felt
you.
like I didn't say. Now
It's
you're
a
talking
normal
crazy.
cleavage. It's not like Psylocke where they gave her random
Well, it's
cleavage
true.
for the movie.
Oh,
To fight,
man.
yeah.
You know,
She-
because
she
that's
had
a fighter.
fighter's
Yeah.
cleavage.
No, the thing that got me kind of annoyed with it was with Polaris of like, oh, you lied to me. How do I trust you? Like that happened actually, I think twice because I think that was.
This
with
is
some
not the
characters.
first episode where she's done that. I think.
Yeah, I hate that as a story device and things like you lied to me. I can never believe anything you say now, and you're just like, okay, please, like stop.
They're kids.
Well, they're a little older than our like daughter girl who's like, oh boy, broke my
Oh,
heart.
Yeah.
are you talking about Lauren, the main character?
They were
Yeah.
all like, what's her name?
Yeah, well,
yeah.
no, we were scolded for not knowing it on a past show.
Well,
but
okay, it is interesting.
It's hard to keep track of that
It
stupid
was me
Strucker
who
family.
scolded you.
But you didn't remember her name.
I know her name, Lauren.
Well,
Yeah.
now you do.
Well,
Anyway,
a couple people are saying give the show time.
well, I feel
We're
well. First
6
of all,
episodes
first
in.
of all, I feel like I have to because I do this show. But if I
I
were
like
just
it.
watching at home, I would continue but I might let it pile up so I could watch 3 or 4 of them at once. And I wonder if that would help. If this
I
would
would
be a better.
watch this like weekly if this.
I feel
weren't,
like
uh,
it might be a
show.
better binge, you know.
Yes.
You know.
It
And
might be one of
They're
those.
moving in an interesting direction in terms of some of the backstory of the X-Men universe without giving too much away for next week. So I'd like to see where that goes. They keep me interested enough, but as the episodes go along, I'm like, oh my God, more of this. And I just want it to be different. And yes, there were a lot of comments in the chat about they could not believe that, and Kari, good for you, you weren't here. You didn't get lumped into this. But Emmanuel Roberson said, okay, when they said the Inhumans was better than The Gifted, I was like, okay, I love The Gifted. Inhumans damn near unwatchable and has moments just don't make sense. So all the moments on The Gifted make sense, Emmanuel. Okay. One show is probably going to be canceled, and the other show is going on. They cheap around on the Inhuman powers and didn't do the Inhumans any justice. And Javi I says, don't be hating mutants. They trump Inhumans. The Inhumans can't use... So I'm laughing because... Superpowers. It's a typo. It happens. The Gifted uses superpowers. The Gifted, 71% on Rotten Tomatoes, and the Inhumans 6%. Don't throw Rotten Tomatoes at me.
I don't know if I believe that.
I don't know. Well, no, I believe it. I just don't believe
though?
those numbers. Like
For
from
the
Rotten
fans
Tomatoes.
watching and everybody on this panel, it's totally subjective, and the two shows are very stylistically different.
Completely different.
And
I agree.
it's one of those things that either you're gonna like one more than the other probably, or you'll like them both because they aren't the same.
The
kind
Gifted
of
is
style.
like a family show or something.
Yeah, it's
no,
like
Gifted is
I
more
feel like
like
it's a
it feels more real, and Humans feels very like over the top superhero style, which
Yeah.
is cool too. And then Agents of Shield is somewhere in the middle. You
Yeah.
know, like it's not, and so it's like whatever you prefer.
right. Look, my takeaway from The Gifted is, as a father of a 2-year-old,
Be a
I have a
better
lot of
parent.
notes for how to be a better parent. If my son turns out to be a mutant, I'm gonna treat him better. Anyway, we could talk more about these shows, but we only have a few more minutes. And I did want to sort of get into this whole notion. We'll only have a couple minutes each to talk about it. But this idea that, Disney's going to have a streaming platform, like how there's CBS All Access and so many others. And they're not going to generate new Marvel shows for Netflix. They theoretically will for this platform. And my question is a bit more of a hypothetical. Let's say that the contract runs out with Netflix and all the Netflix shows continue, but they move over to Disney All Access. We'll just call it that for the sake of the conversation. Me personally, as long as it's not more expensive than Netflix,
They said it's
I'm gonna
going
pay.
to be significantly cheaper.
So
than
it'll probably
Netflix.
be $5.99 like CBS All Access if you're willing to watch it with commercials, which Kari and I have to be because AfterBuzz pays for it. We don't pay for CBS All Access. But I'd be willing to pay for a Disney All Access if there was new Marvel content. And also, yes, I would like to watch Star Wars and some of the other things because there will be a new Star Wars series on that. But Kari, you, for the Marvel Netflix shows, again, this is hypothetical, for those alone, and assuming there'd be new seasons, not just the old ones you've already watched, would you pay for this Disney service?
Maybe not, just because
Right.
there's too many services.
But if you did this show and it was paid for, then you'd
then
get to
I would
watch all of
definitely
it.
watch
Yeah.
those things,
Yeah.
or I'd find other ways, like your friend has it and then you all share, or something like
Right,
that.
something like that. Something that's like
I
quasi
wouldn't
legal.
pirate it, but
It's a lot of work to pirate it. So I'm told by
thanks.
people who do
Yeah.
it. Yeah,
no, like either somebody else or I'd watch it here. or something.
I'd watch it here.
I wouldn't not
But
wanna-
except I would pay for it. So
How's
see, that's the
this?
thing. You guys could come over to my house
I
and we'd
would
all watch
find
it.
a way to watch it. Either I would have to wait till it comes out on DVD, or wait till it's at the library for free, or something like that. I wouldn't care about being current if I had to pay more
Yeah.
than I'm already doing on the other services that I have. And it's just one of those, all the extra services, you're just like, okay, I already got Netflix, and then there's Hulu, and then there's Amazon. It's like, I don't want to pay for all of these.
I think cable's going
Too
to be
many.
kind of be going away for the most part. So I think everyone's going to have these things, and you're just going to pick
I
and buy
think
what you
it's
want to watch.
it's going to turn into being more expensive than cable. The reason why people don't like cable is because your cable bill can easily be $100. But if you have all these streaming services, like if you have the three main ones right now, if you have
The Holy
Netflix,
Trinity.
yes, the Holy Trinity, Hulu, and Amazon Prime. Amazon Prime, it sort of gets amortized into the shipping. But let's just say, hypothetically, you're spending about $30 a month, and that's just for those three.
Yeah.
So then if you add CBS All Access, and then the Disney one, and then there's sports packages, there's so many add-ons that you can have. all of a sudden you're spending more than you ever did for cable. But maybe
You're watching what you want.
you are watching what you want, but you're spending so much more to do it. But I guess
you don't have enough time to watch all of the things on the services you already own. So having additional, it's like, well, you're not gonna have time to watch all of it.
right, I agree. I mean, I try to find time for all of it, but I've already talked about how hard it's going to be for me to watch Punisher this weekend. But so, Michael, did you give it a yes that you would pay for it, or
Depends on the shows.
so if it was Moon Knight?
Like I don't.
Because Moon Knight I would pay for.
No, I wouldn't pay for Moon Knight.
Okay.
I'm debating
Morbius, the living vampire.
No. I don't
The
know.
Gifted.
Stop it.
What if you had
Do
to
want
spend-
me to like
what if-
cancel my subscription before it even
What
starts?
if you had to spend $2 an episode to watch The Gifted? Every week
I'd
you had
have so much money.
Okay.
Good.
Sorry, what were you going to say? I interjected.
I don't know. It would depend on the show for sure.
But if it was these existing shows, like say that Daredevil continued, Luke Cage.
I think we're just gonna have to see what I do with the Runaways because I've been thinking, do I want Hulu or not?
Oh, do you
And
not have Hulu?
I don't.
So you can
and
watch it here.
So we might see see if I buy it. That's
Yeah.
probably a good indication.
But they have Hulu here, and it's on
Okay.
Tuesday, so you'll have ample opportunity to watch it. It won't be before next Monday's show, but basically find time before Thanksgiving is, I guess, what you need to do. But yeah, and we'll talk about that next week too. That the Runaways will be dropping the day after next week's
I
episode.
hope I like it.
I want to like it. I love the
Same.
idea, and I don't know. Some people didn't like the little preview trailer, but I
Really?
thought it looked really
Looks
cool.
cool.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of looks like the comic, so I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Kids look great. They look like what the characters look like.
EON001 says Netflix shows need to be 8 episodes. I'm really worried about the Punisher. I would say you don't need to be that worried about the Punisher. Soluminati Junes Jr. says Punisher first 6 episodes were great, according to Screen Junkies and Collider. We'll all know, on Friday, because I'll have watched 6 at least. Anyway, so we'll have to see. And yes, final thought is that maybe the New Warriors show will end up on the Disney streaming service, but we'll see. And that was one of those great questions, one of those great comments on last week's episode is they better not screw up Squirrel Girl, because people love Squirrel Girl. And I
do.
still think it's
Very
just
popular.
because I think it's just because her name rhymes, but I might be wrong.
I don't. It's one of
It's
those things that, like
probably
I had never heard about it,
Yeah.
and then it was everywhere at conventions.
I would love for the service to have all the classic cartoons like Spider-Man, X-Men, X-Men Evolution, anything that's Marvel that's been cartoon. I would love the service to have that. If not, I'm not paying.
I
would
did
like.
hear some
yeah,
of that's on Hulu right now, though.
yeah, some of it is
Yeah.
now. I wonder
Yeah.
where if it'll all end up over there. Yeah, I mean, I would like to sit down and watch some of those
Or if
series.
it's complete, I'd be willing to buy some of those. Like if they had like nice complete sets of shows, be like, okay.
I bought like a bootleg version of the X-Men animated series like forever ago. It's like almost unwatchable.
The show or the quality of the? Because I have the
Yeah.
like the official DVD.
No, I got a
volume on.
bootleg
Oh.
version for like $20.
Oh,
Like the
okay.
entire season, I watch it, but it's still like
It's-
hard. Yeah.
All right. Well, we are out of time, but let us know what you think, everybody that's in the chat, or if you're listening on iTunes. Let us know if you would pay for this Disney service if it meant getting the Netflix shows. And also let us know either when you're about to watch Punisher or after the fact what you think, how much you watched. Just brag to us. Let us know that you finished it in one sitting at 1 p.m. The first day. Anyway, for myself, Christian Bladt, Christian DMZ, and the rest of the panel,
Yes, you all can find me online and continue the discussion on Twitter or Instagram at Kari D Lane, KaridLane. And yeah, so let me know how far you get on Punisher. I'm curious. How far will I get in time?
Michael, where can
And
people find
yeah,
you?
you can catch me on AfterBuzz every Thursday for the Project Runway show. We're actually having our finale, so
Uh-oh.
yeah, we're gonna have a lot of guests in studio. So if you are a fan of the Runway, check it out, and you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Michael X Shirley.
Actually, wait, I'm sorry. I just remembered, and because our voice in the sky, I need to represent our show, Horror Movie News,
Oh,
tomorrow
right.
at 4.
Is
4
that
p.m.
a popcorn talk show or is
It is Popcorn
okay.
Talk, and then as well as also on Popcorn Talk is box office breakdown on Sundays, and then Star Trek we have that, but it's going to be a little different now.
Right,
on
and
Sundays.
we'll give a very shameless plug, and I know we have to wrap up.
Do
Anthony.
it, yes.
This Sunday, because there's no new episode of Star Trek Discovery, we're going to have the topic: are the J.J. Abrams movies garbage. So we're going to dive into that, and we'll see if we have an answer. And that'll be on Sundays, Star Trek Weekly. Tuesdays, I do the Trump Report. Wednesdays, I do South Park. One of those is funnier than the other. I'll let you decide. And, there's just so much to talk about. I don't even know where we could possibly continue the conversation. But
actually, I want to talk about this one
because you're a big fan of this. Actually, you're such a big fan of this. Why don't you tell everybody about this?
And guys, the other one I was going to tell you all about that I'm very excited about is Vikings is coming back. So on the History Channel, that will start next week. It will be Wednesday nights at 8. So History's critically acclaimed series Vikings will premiere with a 2-hour season premiere airing Wednesday, November 29th at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard. Season 5 begins with Ivar the Boneless asserting his leadership over the great heathen army, while Lagertha remains queen of Kattegat. Ivar's murder of his brother Sigurd. Oh yeah, if you guys aren't up to date, you should be. Unlike spoilers, but not
There's
really.
a lot of spoilers for previous seasons,
Yeah,
but that's all right. Catch up.
You can go watch it on Amazon. Sets up the stage for vicious battles to come as Ragnar's sons plot their next moves after avenging their father's death. Bjorn follows his destiny into the Mediterranean Sea, and Floki, who is suffering from the loss of his wife and Helga, takes to the sea, submitting himself to the will of the gods. The season is full of startling alliances and unbelievable betrayals as the Vikings fight to rule the world. Season 5 is 10 episodes. Oh, that's kind of short. Vikings is critically acclaimed series from creator and sole writer Michael Hurst and Academy Award-winning film Elizabeth and Emmys Golden Globe nominated series Tudors. So yes, Who Will Rise is their big thing. So it's great on Twitter. They have all these all the cast members are kind of like, who do you want to win? And so it's just check it out on History. And Who Will Rise? So it's going to be Wednesdays at 9 p.m. God, tune in.
Well, so that sounds very exciting. That's great that there's a new season. I'm so glad you read that. There were so many names in there that I would have.
You're like, I don't know.
But anyway, so
2-hour season premiere.
Make sure that you catch the 2-hour season premiere of Vikings. But in the meantime, make sure that to take a phrase from Eon001 in the chat, this weekend for the Punisher, Punish and Chill on Netflix. Anyway, thanks so much, and we'll see you all next Monday, 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific. Excelsior!
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.